We are live. This is Rich Lieberman. Why am I shouting for no apparent reason? Because it just has to be that I shout a lot. No, it has nothing to be. And by the way, it is freezing. And I don't use a lot of heat. I don't like the fact that when you put heat on, whether it's in your house, and I don't use a lot of it because it's so damn expensive. And when you get in the car, if you turn the heat up way, way up, or even if you turn it up moderately, when you get out of the car, eventually it's going to be even colder. You ever took that into account? People kind of think that's a cliche. Okay, enough talking about me being cold and the weather. It's a beautiful day. Thank God. I thought invasion from Seattle. I really thought that, we're getting so much rain. And then, of course, we'll be talking about the drought again. And if we don't talk about the drought, then we'll be talking about the fact that we have too much water. And if we have too much water, then we'll need sunshine. And then if there's more sunshine, then we'll go into the fact that we need more rain. And we don't have enough of snow because it's not cold enough up in the way up in the mountains. And Jesus Christ, I'm sick of all that too. Weather, traffic and weather together. When there's no traffic and we don't really have weather. God, we have all these tornadoes in the South. We haven't had yet, blizzards in the past few years in the East Coast, the nor'easters and all. And we're kvetching about some rain. Oh my God, let's send a reporter and crew. God, I'm going way off course here, but what the hell? It's extemporaneous Monday when we send crews up to the Russian River and the hardware store in Marin. Ooh, I guess people didn't get their rain gear. Let's send a reporter to the hardware store. Ooh, there's a heat wave, Marge. Assignment editor, go send a reporter to the Livermore housing development where the roofers could be interviewed and ask what it's like working when it's 157 degrees. All right, enough of my kvetching. It's a cliche, it really is, to say that change is coming, in this case to Bay Area media. But it's not a cliche, and changes are coming, big changes. From what I've been told, it's across the board. It's not just various mediums like radio. Oh my God, what a travesty! But change is indeed coming because, and a lot of it is predicated on the fact that a lot of these companies are broke, are going broke, are in a perilous financial situation with all of what's taking place in broadcast, what's taking place in newspaper and the lack of print and the more digital chip and all that. Streaming, the nirvana, although that's beginning to kill itself off. Only the mighty in streaming will survive, like Netflix, like these big mega companies like Paramount, which owns CBS and Viacom and all ABC and Disney. Pretty soon it's just going to be one really minor kind of a mega company, and we're going to be force fed all this shit, and you're going to have to do with it. There's not going to be much variety. You'll have the five. By the way, I like these people with the 5,000 channels. Used to be 500, now it's 5,000 channels. Most of these channels have no shit. They got a log cabin up there, or they got the log where it's burning. It's a perpetual fire in the little chimney there. That constitutes a channel. So anyway, I don't know why I went off on that either. I'm very skittish today. I really do need some medication. Can you set me up with something? No, I'm joking. I don't want to go that loud because I'll get even more assholes than I already have. So changes are coming, and it's going to be, in this case, television. And look what is taking place. You have ABC owned stations like KGO, owned by Disney. You have, of course, CBS, NBC, Comcast, and Fox. It's kind of a small little company there, or companies, but changes are coming. I know for a fact there's a lot of changes coming to Cron, which is owned by Nexstar. And Cron has undergone so many iterations that who knows what's taking place. The CW is basically in the toilet. That's the parent network owned by Nexstar, which owns Cron. And they're having vast amounts of problems and personnel issues and budgetary issues. So, oh, guess what? Anything that happens to Cron these days is probably good. It's not going to make any difference because they're pretty crappy now. My God. Could you get rid of these high school like reporters and put some real people, real reporters on the air? And Channel 7, oh my God, Disney. Disney, it's a small world after all. It really is, especially when it has very low level reporters on their various television stations, like Channel 7 here in the Bay Area. Julian Glover. Oh, come on. Stop it already. You're a disaster. And apparently, your snitch level has become even more, not subpar, the opposite. They're on to you, Julian Glover. And CBS, which again, I complimented to a point with trying this new technology where you have the reporters doing their bit, you have weather anchors doing this stand up routine, and the news anchors not sitting behind the desk, they're standing more, which sad to say if that's revolutionary, but whatever, you're trying. But oh golly, CBS is not content. And there's going to be some cost cutting there. Now, I don't know how it translates to local television stations. They've spent a lot of money with this 24/7 streaming, which so far, I mean, I give them credit again for trying. I haven't seen anything vast, revolutionary personnel. I'm hearing about all these new anchors that are on board and so forth. Looks like the woman from Chicago, who's set to start in a couple of weeks, heard a lot of impressive things. We'll wait and see. So far, we'll see. Of course, we'll see. It's a cliche. So, okay. So, NBC and Comcast. Um, You'd have thunk after they made over $1 billion with the Olympics that they put a lot of that money into their working capital, their infrastructure, whether it's CNBC, MSNBC, which apparently, as we all know, is on the block because they became sort of rationalized less during the election. So all these parent companies of NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, are now apparently very, very much for sale. But over the air NBC. By the way, just off the top of my head, does anybody watch, really, does anybody watch network news anymore? As it becomes so irrelevant and so, talk about marginalized, nobody watches the network news anymore. David Muir from ABC. Yeah, let's dress myself up and get a thinner black tie and say tonight every 5 seconds. That's real revolutionary. Nobody watches network news. Nobody. Nobody watches, for that matter. Nobody watches the television shows on the network. It's so ridiculous. Saturation central, as I said. But back to changes. There are changes coming to the various Bay Area media. KCBS, God, do they need a facelift and then some. KPIX, not KPIX, as the woman anchor, weather anchor in the morning referred to it. KPIX, I've heard PIX. I've heard CBS News Bay Area. KPIX, interesting. And Cron and NBC Bay Area. Folks, that's what I said earlier on. saying a year now. They're killing each other off. There are just simply too many programs out there. And when you do that, you marginalize not only for everybody else, but for yourself. You take any really good quality program, whether it's news, whether it's in entertainment, and you lessen it. Isn't that just basic common sense? Then when you throw so much proverbial shit on the wall, you lessen the impact of all your other programs, some of which are very legit, some of which are very, shall we say, monumental and, dare I say, creative, because everybody is killing each other off. I've been repeating this ad nauseum for years now. You lessen the impact of good things, even. Forget the bad things, of which there is plenty. You lessen all the other things. Therefore, they're just throwing shit after shit after shit. Pretty soon, it's just going to be whoever is the deeper pocketed venue, folks. That's what it's come down to, and that's a shame. Again, I always say, I don't know how worse it can get. It's kind of reached that level, but then it gets worse and more worse and all that. And talk about irrelevancy, what it's come to now. But changes are coming. Um, I am trying and diligently working on as many projects that I can. Projects. I use the big word there, make it sound like it's. Look, I'm not heavy lifting here. I said projects. What I mean to say is I am working as many phones as I can and texting people and old analog calling people, which is against the law these days. You can't call somebody. Oh my God, there's the phone ringing. Ooh, let's go text people. Let's go text. How about let's multi-text? The phone conversation is becoming almost as irrelevant as all the other media entities these days. Anyway, I prefer sometimes rather than texting, I like to call people and hear a human voice and ask what the hell is going on at channel 3 or channel 12 or KGO. Oh, wait a minute. There is no KGO anymore. Not only is there no KGO, there's no KGO call letters because Cumulus did away with the KGO call letters. Ain't that quaint? Okay, so there's changes coming. I'm working on a lot of these uh, situation things that I could tell you about, which I will do, which is one of the reasons, among many, why you come here. Please contribute. We're towards the end of the year. In fact, by tomorrow, it'll be 2025 in what, Australia? So, if my calculations are correct. So, do make a contribution. Go up to my PayPal, click on it. Any amount is welcome. Um, I will get you a tripped. I can't talk. I sound like Lil Ferg or Lil Ferg now. A trip down successful lane, and you know the biz. God, I'm looking outside. It is some bright ass sunshine. Thank God. For a minute, I thought again we were in Seattle or Alaska. Actually, it's colder now here than it is in Alaska. So make a contribution. I will personally thank you and give you mass impressions of Yul Brynner, Richard Nixon, Joe Lieberman, no relation, and quite amount of other people. Did you like? Did you like my Julia Child? As you take the oregano and you take the lemon pepper and you sprinkle it across the chicken, and it makes that chicken, Julia Child. And here's a hearty endorsement off the top of my head, but it is having to do with Julia Child and Emeril Lagasse. Go on YouTube and look at some of those videos. Julia Child was such a woman meant. She was such a speaking of quality, speaking of somebody that was vastly underrated And I know she did a lot of cookbooks and she did a lot of other things, but Julia Child, just a real nice lady who could cook, by the way, really good cook. And Emeril Lagasse, bam! I love that guy too. So I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I just thought about it in any event. Make a contribution. Rich is here for you always. I will probably be on later today. I just have a hunch. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. We're getting close to New Year's Eve. And by golly, I can't wait for that. Amateur night personified. Talk to you soon. Make a contribution.